Hi, I'm Tanya from Motif, and today is the day. We are announcing our first AI integration in Motif, and it's all about rendering and visualizations. You know how we're all super excited about the LLMs and the image generation tools and all the magic that they bring us. But as architects, I'm observing that we're starting to get a little bit frustrated because the tools are hallucinating a little bit too much and they're changing our buildings. Or if we don't want them to change it, then we need to start learning all these crazy multi-software workflows with, computational diagrams and API keys, etc. So what we decided in Motif is to bring a tool to you that is powerful, that creates powerful AI renderings, but they're made very simple. So the tool is optimized for architecture. We offer you simplicity, but not at cost of quality. And it's integrated within early design or design review workflows. And from all the things we could imagine, you can do at least the following workflows. You can bring a Revit view to a beautiful rendition, or you can bring a concept made in Rhino to life. You can sketch or import a sketch and render that. You're also able to sketch over our 3D models and then render that sketch into some reality. Then there is an opportunity to bring your physical models to reality or to real renditions. And finally, to augment any of those workflows with additional humans, foliage, or some backdrop, urban furniture, etc. So let's stop PowerPointing and get to the point. Well, I was not really PowerPointing, I was still using Motif. But let's move to a project and show you how this works. Okay, here we are in Motif. I'll just maximize this. As you know, we can stream Revit views in Motif. So let's make a couple of nice views. Let's say this is one. And I'll open views, and all I need to do is save the view. That will generate a view here. Let's do one that is maybe a little bit more dramatic. Here we go. I think that's enough. Okay, so the next thing you do is you go to top view, orthographic, and I'm just gonna go to a clean space. Under the asset manager, you will find the views you created. So here it is. I'm going to put the second view. The thumbnail did not yet update, but it will soon. So what do you do to render this? That is the goal here, right? Well, all I need to do is just literally double click and the image rendering or AI rendering toolbar shows up. And all I need to do is just click submit. So this is the lowest level of really single click rendering that, as you will see, does not compromise on quality, but would give you results that are really great. We do pride ourselves for doing this really quick. However, it still takes a minute. It's definitely much faster than traditional rendering. But while we're waiting, I'm going to invoke again. I'll copy paste the view and I will invoke maybe a photorealistic black and white photography. As you know, we architects are real suckers for black and white photography. So let's take a look of what can we do here. And finally, I'll maybe just do an example of watercolor. As you can see, purposefully, I'm ignoring everything else. I just want you to see what do you get. Real time, without any additional fiddling or prompts as quality from our software. So this is the first one that came out. Not bad. And as you can see, it maintains the geometry as is. And here is another one. Given that I didn't give it any further instructions, It interprets a little bit the materials that it sees. The other ones are starting to show up. This black and white photography looks quite wonderful. And the first watercolor also showed up. Here, as you see, you will get 3 different options to explore which really responds mostly to kind of the vibe in which you want to communicate this building. Now, these are just the first results. You might be already happy with this, or you can take one of those and further develop. Maybe I would like to use this one and create yet another style. In this case, I will choose posterize. It's still in beta, but let's take a look again. Single click. What can we get out of the black and white photo? Posterize and watercolor are kind of styles that you would probably use when you're really early in the design and you want to kind of keep the door open, that all conversations are welcome and open and nothing is set in stone, versus photorealistic and black and white. Probably you would like to have when you have a little bit more developed concept. I can take any of the photorealistic rendered versions, and I always do this, sorry. And here we can now start exploring a little bit more. So to cover what we all have, we have different backgrounds as well as surroundings. We have choices for the weather, is it clear or cloudy or foggy or snowy, as well as time of the day, sunrise, daytime, sunset, or nighttime. What I will do here is, let's do a little bit a clear sunny day, maybe at sunset with a light background. But I will also say that this is a university building. The facade is clad entirely in curtain. Let's explore that option. In the meantime, we can take a look our posterized views. As you can see, they have a little bit of those early poster vibes. The watercolors have a little bit different vibe. The black and white photos are wonderful. Here is the photorealistic. So I use the prompt here as well as some settings to give it a little bit more vibe, a little bit more precision. Let's do another change in materials just so I'm really and I know why is this happening, because I always forget to turn snap to object, which I will do now. Let's do one more. Maybe this time I will keep it still photorealistic. I'll keep the settings maybe the same, light background, maybe sunrise, but this time I might say university building. The facade is made out of mass timber. I mean, not the facade, just university building made out of mass timber. And I'll run that. In the meantime, we can see a little bit the curtain version. And, you know, depending on which photo you start with, you can get more or less successful results. I have definitely gotten better results on the curtain, so it's worth trying out different views, different colors, until you get what you need. And finally, let's just take one more. This time, this time I will try to add some people. So let's say maybe we can add redwood forest in the background and people walking in the foreground of the building. So here are the different versions of the materiality. So as you can see, it respects the building. It doesn't change the geometry. It's very fast. It gives you opportunities to play countless combinations of all of these here. I encourage you to try them. And that is in principle one of the workflows that we support in our first version of the AI rendering. We'll just wait for these to finish. One tip with all cloud software, whenever something is kind of stuck, you can also refresh the browser. So here we got some redwood trees, we got some people walking around the building. So you see, it is as easy and it is fast as having a conversation and literally somebody just listening to you and visualizing your thoughts or your choices or your words. Let's move on to another workflow. Here I will pick a conceptual model from Rhino. Again, it's loaded in Motif. It's streamed actually so that any changes can be propagated back in Motif. And again, let's do some views. I'll do a little bit more frog eye, more dramatic view here, and open here, save the view, and maybe one from the top. Save the view. Again, we go to top view, orthographic, and under the assets here, I will place the view. Now, this is a conceptual model. And as you can imagine, if you show this picture even to humans, some might think that it is some children's toy and boxes put on top of each other. We did optimize the software to understand buildings. So even without a prompt, it will know that it is a building. But let's try both and see what we get. So I will double click and without doing anything, I'll just ask it to render. But as I did before, I will also make a copy and maybe do a little bit of dark background. Let's say it's nighttime and it's a little bit foggy. Let's do that. And then finally, I will actually help the software understand what this is. So I can say it's an office building and the facade is maybe golden metal panels, and maybe we can say perforated panels. Okay, and let's do a little bit of a cloudy and sunset and maybe dark background, and let's go. All right, so what did we get here? When we didn't specify anything, it still understood it's a building. And the environment that it places, again, the software chooses on its own. So we have a couple of versions and options to think. Maybe this is more the vibe I was thinking about. On the night one, I went a little bit over the board with my, what did I say? I said foggy and nighttime. That's what I got. I might not like to use this and I might try again, but as you can see, it gives you different options of how that building could look like at nighttime and in fog. And why don't we try on this one as well? Watercolor. without any instructions. So again, the idea is that you can get phenomenal results just by selecting some of the predefined visual styles or modifiers, but you can get into more and more detail as you add maybe more textual description and refinement to your designs. And here they are, the watercolor. Not bad. I've not sped up this video, so sometimes it gets a little bit longer, sometimes it's faster. It's both cloud as well as, large language models behind. But I think compared with our traditional way of rendering, this has an incredible value of getting quick results and doing more of this early on so that we make right decisions early on in the process.